Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Big roster updates happening yesterday, but also big questions over the last couple of days. What will Sentinels do going into their next round of practice after winning a lot with Zelsys in their matches over the last few days and having a mixed reception for pANcada? FNS believes that it's an absolute no-brainer. Keep pANcada, keep Zelsys on the bench. That is the best solution for Sentinels. That is the solution that makes the most sense from a perspective of experience and of actual pedigree as a VALORANT professional player. Is he right? Will they still make a change over time? Rumour has it that in practice, it's been going much better with pANcada than it has with Zelsys, despite the results that we saw when they got to official matches. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. This is Durka and the rest of the Fnatic boys walking away with the championship there in Tokyo. The viewership was pretty good as well, had about 181,000. Obviously, it's over there in Tokyo, so not the best time zone for American viewers, for example. But yeah, so Fnatic Cloud9, Fnatic Fennel actually did really well, as did all the Fnatic games. Makes sense, Fnatic massive following out there in Japan. Zeta Fnatic, if that had been the finals, it would have been popping off. But nonetheless, good results for everyone involved. And Fnatic, as expected, get the W. Not, it wasn't incredibly dominant by any means, and Cloud9 were particularly impressive. Here's Oxy as well. Nice little jersey swap picture here with Durka. What a player Oxy is going to turn into. Massively looking forward to seeing him in the Franchise League next season with this Cloud9 team. And as we can see by the numbers, these are the numbers. Leo, Chronicle, top-rated players, and these guys are just so ridiculous. Durka had the same rating as Oxy, which is quite something to look at. Of course, a couple of players from FNS Esports, Alphas here as well. The amount of times that you get all four Fnatic players, but Boaster on this list, and no Boaster is pretty funny. Okay, Boaster can't do everything. He's, if your players are fragging out like this, there aren't too many kills remaining on the map, and obviously Boaster does a lot to enable this to be the case. Zeppa's here, Bang made it as well on 100 Thieves, despite a very disappointing showing from them this tournament. And yeah, despite the fact that 100T were outplaced by DRX, no DRX players here, despite the fact that Buzz had a pretty good tournament. But yeah, Fnatic are built different. But Cloud9, I mean, Oxy and Zeppa appearing here is an impressive little duo to keep your eyes on next year. And of course with Curry as well, they haven't clarified what they're going to do with Curry yet, Cloud9, whether he is going to be their official sixth man. But as they said, called into sub at the last minute, no prac with the team. Second plays, it takes Fnatic the distance. They run out of steam a little bit, but it was very impressive from Curry. He played really well. So if you guys were Cloud9, would you bring Curry in as the official full-time sub? Obviously, they're giving him a lot of credit here in this tweet, but if they don't, go on to sign him, then you got to wonder whether that is the best decision or not. EU as well was talking about the fans and everyone that they had over there supporting them in Tokyo. Really sorry we couldn't take pictures of everyone while we were here, but yeah, hopefully we meet everyone again next time, if there is next time for this 100 TT, because yeah, it wasn't looking so pretty this past weekend. There's also some roster drama going down with Case Esports, or however it's meant to be pronounced. This is like a Spanish team in Tier 2 that was formed not long ago. I want to say like a month ago, they formed their team. And now, all of a sudden, their coach is going to go. So I don't know what's going on entirely over there. Lucas Rojo is going to be out of there, apparently. Slightly unclear whether he's been kicked or whether he's got a better opportunity to maybe coach another Spanish team, maybe in Tier 1. But yeah, I don't know what's happening over there, because I'm pretty sure this team did not form long ago, and already there are serious roster changes apparently going down there behind the scenes. This as well was a big update from yesterday, a pretty sad one, but still a great career that Hazed had from the CS days into the VALORANT days. A lot of what he did early on NRG, building up players like Som. He has some pretty crazy highlights actually as well, but he's decided that after being missing in action for a while, I suppose I should clarify publicly for anyone who cares, I'm done playing professionally. He's going to call it a day and retire. Don't regret any moment of it from 2004 to now. So yeah, congratulations to Hazed on a legendary career. And as he says, for all aspiring players still on the grind, don't give up, have to make sacrifices. As long as it makes you happy, keep going. But Hazed is done. Wonder what's next for Hazed, just because surely he makes too much sense as a coach somewhere. Could be an analyst, but I think as a coach, what Hazed has done, bringing up many players, he just fits the bill of that type of character so well that I think he could be a really valuable coach somewhere. So we'll see what he decides to do next, but clearly he's looking to make a return to the timeline, and therefore I imagine he's looking to think about what his next direction might be. But of course, lots of top teams already have their coaches locked down for the new year, but as we just saw, Case Esports making changes, so what's to say that other teams might not as well? And let's not forget forget the most recent season when Psycho, head guy at Sentinels, was kicked, dropped, whatever, not that long into the season. So other teams are starting to practice. Congratulations as well to Ethan and his wife for getting married now a few days ago. But EG, I imagine, are not doing a lot of practice right now. They're getting players poached away. Demon One was out there in Tokyo. I can't imagine they're really practicing. Ethan was getting married, lots going on. But some teams are practicing. They are trying to grind. Of course, other teams are actually trying to nick players from EG if they can, right? Try and get an actual deal accepted by evil geniuses. But Sentinels are one that have been putting in a shift. They have played 6 games already over the last couple of weeks. The first one was against Moist Chobify. They played them again, actually, during the Sen Invitational, and then they played Oxygen twice. I mean, they played all these teams twice, actually, the way that this has particularly worked out. Now, as it turned out, Sentinels did rather well in the second half. They've won their last 5 series in a row against pretty solid opposition. Now, the first series they lost was with their theoretical team for the season. TenZ, Zekken, Sassy pANcada, and of course John QT as their IGL. They lost that series. pANcada then was unwell. Zellsis subs in. They win the next 4 series in a row with Zellsis instead of pANcada running the smokes for him. They then play Oxygen Esports where TenZ is unwell. pANcada comes back in for TenZ. Zellsis then runs TenZ's role. pANcada's back on the smokes and they win this series pretty comfortably in the end, and pANcada had the best performance on the Omen, but of course Zellsis wasn't that far behind. So the question was being raised, what do you do if you're Sentinels? Zellsis has come in and won 5 out of 5. pANcada, I guess TenZ is 4 for 5, and pANcada is 1 for 1. Now, it's early season, pre-season tournaments, but if you're Sentinels, surely you have to at least consider the fact that Zellsis has come in and done a stellar job. FNS though says, don't overreact, and basically their team initially is the best version of the team. pANcada has way more pedigree and is way better on that role than Zellsis should be, especially when playing at seriously superior competition. So FNS's opinion is, don't listen to the noise, keep pANcada, Zellsis staying on the bench, that's the way to go.
Depends on Flex, it seems like Sen has the most stuff covered. I mean, didn't TenZ say he prefers Flex over pure duelist? Off-season opinions are very skewed, in my opinion. Like, everyone's gonna have opinions on like, oh yeah, this guy should be replaced because he played well in this one match that I watched. As a whole, you have to look at the bigger picture. And pANcada as a controller fits more than Zellsis does, so... Well, no, it's just more that pANcada has more experience on the role of being a controller and has proven more as a player individually and on his old team. Sentinels, I've seen cut pANcada. Okay, bring him back. Okay, fine, TenZ is the problem. In a matter of 3 days, I've seen that.
And I thought in light of this analysis here from James was pretty interesting. So James found out, I guess, the scrims, and this is 3 days ago now, but it still gets the point across. The team with Zellsis lost more than half of their scrims, but won all of their matches, while the team with pANcada has over 90% win rate in scrims and seems to be lacking in matches. Interesting. Now, okay, they've only played like 1 game with their intended team, John QT, Zekken, TenZ, Sassy pANcada, and they lost it, but it's not a particularly big sample size. It's interesting how the correlation works though, because some teams that are really good in matches and on LAN, for example, aren't necessarily dominating practice. They're always going to be good in practice to some degree, but they might not be dominant. Some teams in various esports that are incredibly good in practice and are absolutely dominating everything, when they get to matches, they just can't make it work. They can't translate it. But if you're winning everything in scrims, you should be able to make it work. And if I was, it's interesting, like if you're Kaplan and you're seeing this, when pANcada was unwell, when Zellsis came in, all of a sudden you start losing a lot of scrims. You're probably going into the matches thinking, yeah, right, this ain't going to look as good. Then you win everything and Zellsis plays out of his mind. It's like, well, I got a second, what's going on? Like, how are we able to make this happen? So that's, I think, the question for the Sentinels guys is like, all right, why, okay, Zellsis subbed in the scrims, and sure, you wouldn't expect him to do as well, but when they got to the matches, they were doing as well, if not slightly better. So this has been the question that's gone around. Of course, as FNS pointed at, when pANcada was back in and TenZ was out, all of a sudden people were saying, oh, well, TenZ is the problem because Zellsis can run the flex better than TenZ. I do think there's a lot of recency bias here at play, where a few series happen and then people are reading into, right, what might happen for the entirety of the season when the full team gets underway. But FNS says, yeah, look, just give it some time, which I think is what they will do. I'd be very surprised if they made a change Zellsis for pANcada before the season begins. TENS, but still, let's say this situation remains. We know that the whole meme about Sentinels, they don't practice, they clearly are practicing, they're clearly taking it seriously, but if their practice is great with pANcada and they still don't really get great results when the season begins, then they will look back to this time period and they will think, well, as soon as we started to struggle in matches, maybe Xelsis coming in is the solution, which maybe it will be. But for now, I think FNS is correct that sticking with the program is the way to go. TENS, hopefully he's back well soon. I just don't understand how he gets ill so often and why he isn't trying to absolutely load up on all the vitamins and minerals that he needs. But as he says, sorry for being MIA, been very sick, sleeping 20 plus hours a day in my bed. Will come back when this sickness goes away. So yeah, I feel bad for TENS, but how many times a season does this have to happen before? Surely, I don't know. I guess he's just prone to it, isn't he? But hopefully TENS feels better very soon indeed. And I thought this is pretty funny that Zekken found in his Twitch chat, did Zekken think about leaving Sentinels to somewhere else where he can actually win? But so far, things have been looking pretty promising for the Sentinels, guys. And just to close out real quick from Chet, we saw this the other day, that he's looking for Analyst for the upcoming season. Seemingly this is still open, so if you guys saw this or didn't see this and are looking to apply, then feel free to give it a go, because he tells you to analyze the NRG pay-per-X skim. Of course, you know, you've got to figure out which one, but it's pretty obvious towards the end of the season. Provide 2 Sova lineups with the Sun Stay hit, etc, etc. And we'll be stopping looking at submissions November the 5th, send through Twitter DM, extending deadline to the 6th. Resubmit your application to this link. Please send here, I won't look. So yeah, I guess his Twitter DM's got 2 muddles, but that's the update from Chet. So there is still today, if you're looking to apply, or you did apply and you didn't see this extension and you wanted to make sure you reapplied, then yeah, feel free to do so. And if he's extended it to November 6th, you might think that he might continue extending it if he doesn't get the amount of responses that he wants or the quality of responses that he wants. So maybe the door is still open there to a new NRG Analyst still to be selected. But very much interested to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.